before we head into anything, I know this is a little bit too US centric, but I feel that um the global right is also a European problem. So we can talk about this
100%.
fella.
Yeah.
And I feel that also too because he just like wants to become more European in a very odd way. But
He wants to become Hungarian
yeah, exactly.
specifically.
So one of the wildest things that just appeared in my Twitter feed today was Rod Dreher, for listeners who don't know, is an American like conservative writer. He's one of these freaks who was formerly Catholic and has now converted to, I believe, Greek Orthodox, which
What a
is
weird. That is so
yeah,
random. Okay.
because they think that the Catholic Church is too gay. That's like legitimately
Sure.
his
Because
reasoning
the
behind
Pope
it.
says the F word. Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. The Pope's trying to reclaim the F slur.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Rod Dreher posted a video in support of Tucker Carlson saying that he was mauled by demons, which is
Okay.
the funniest thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
please
uh,
explain.
okay, I'll let you process that first. It's just like a 4-minute video of Tucker Carlson being like, I didn't believe this beforehand, but I was, and then this is the way it starts, is that he says that he was sleeping in his bed with like his 4 dogs. And then like, that's a lot of dogs. By
Yeah,
his 4
sorry.
dogs.
Like, I'm a dog person, but sleeping with like they smell. Even if they're clean, they still smell. I'm
Yeah,
not.
but then he
And
says that then he like woke up in his like I don't know, I'm assuming it's like his weird fucking cabin or wherever he lives. And because that's where the video was. He was like going through explaining to this other conservative pundit or whatever
Mhm.
at his cabin while he's like holding a gun the whole time. um that
Okay.
that he was mauled by demons in his sleep, which if I'm just putting things together, it just sounds like his dog scratched him in the middle of the night or whatever.
Yeah,
But
like yeah, you're sleeping with 4 dogs and you think it was demons when there's 4 dogs on top
yeah,
of you.
yeah. I mean, because it really, like, the way that he describes it too just like begins sounding like that then he was having an affair and his like wife found out about it, and it's like, oh, what are these scratches on your back? Oh, honey, it's,
The
must have been
demons.
demons. Yeah. But the story, like, weird, like, uh, it doesn't, Tucker Carlson doesn't, I mean, from what he was describing in the story, he was home when this happened, so who knows? But it could be also as well too that Tucker Carlson's been cheating on his wife. I
Mm.
just I love the looniness of the American like Christian right, where that then they will just like get into like any kind of goofy demonology stuff. Even Tucker Carlson's like, I don't
Mhm.
I don't believe in this, but all of my evangelical friends that I've spoken to have said that this is possible to happen to you in the middle of the night, to be mauled by demons. And I don't know. I really vibed with it. I really appreciate how his grift is going like in just like any direction possible. Like, remember like with the
Yeah.
Putin interview where he like he like
Yeah.
asked of like Vladimir Putin, do you talk to God and stuff like that.
But does he consider himself Catholic or just Christian or evangelical, whatever you
I
guys.
don't I don't I don't I don't know what he is,
Because
nor do I
it's
care.
just funny because inside the Christian right,
Yeah.
Catholics, American Catholics, especially converts, are just another level of cookie. Like,
Oh, converts to any religion are bad. That's like, that goes for
yeah.
any religion. You always get the like the oddest true believers, whether it
Mm.
be, I mean, any form of Christianity is cringe in that, like, if you're going to convert to it. Because when you do, you typically are either like one, a born again, or you're like late in the game. Catholic converts make no sense because I feel that Catholicism is just like a thing that you're born into. You can't become it, kind of like how Judaism is that way.
Yeah, but in America, there's now this new trend of especially kids on TikTok just claiming that they're Catholic converts. And it's very funny to see, Italians, Irish, Spanish people that grew up Catholic saying stuff, oh no, you don't get to be Catholic now. You didn't grow up with all the guilt and the shame. And
if you don't,
shit.
Yeah, if you don't grow, I mean, I am very much in that Catholic camp of if you do not grow up Catholic, you can convert. I don't care. I don't know. I mean, unless you like convert to Catholicism because you found like a rare, cool church or whatever, fine, whatever. But normally, the people who are converting to Catholicism are the people who post like tradcath videos on TikTok. And they're all like, oh, I just think that Vatican I is so based. And it's like, yeah, dude, it isn't. There's a reason why the Catholic Church changed all this stuff because it was fucking dumb and like hyper anti-Semitic. Not even to mention, too, it made like the church impossible to, I mean, kind of ridiculous to say this because the Catholic Church is one of the largest religions in the world. But Vatican II allowed the like Catholic mission to be done in different languages, not just Latin. That definitely like created a lot of converts as well, in the newer realm of how Catholicism wanted to spread its word, not just in the old ways of like imperialism and whatnot. Not to say that the Catholic Church isn't, still doing crazy shit, but like the people who are like converts to and are obsessed with Vatican, like Vatican I are they're all Americans. They all wish that they were evangelical Christians, but they like the vibes of the Catholic Church.
Oh it's all about the aesthetic. That's the main thing.
Catholicism has good aesthetics. You can't take that away from it.
Yeah.
So totally. So does the Greek Orthodox Church. Not gonna lie, a lot of bling, a lot of gold.
That is true. Yeah.
So, but also insane, like far more insane actually than the Catholic Church, especially if you're like Rod Dreher and you're converting to the Greek Orthodox.
It's such a random sequence of, because how many people have actually converted from Catholicism to Greek Orthodox? Really?
A lot, yes. It's a big thing in the United States, predominantly of exactly. Because it's the type of person too who on Twitter will have the like Russia flag emoji and the Orthodox cross thing, and they're like, oh, like I know the truth about Ukraine, because they legitimately think, like I said, that the Catholic Church is too liberal. The Orthodox Church, like for those who don't know enough about it, like whenever there's like a natural disaster in Greece or something like that, the like patriarch of Greece comes out and is like, this is because of the gays. Like they have like Westboro Baptist Church vibes. And Mount Athos, for example, no chicks allowed, dudes only. It's the hyper, it's just like the more extreme version of Catholicism, more or less. And there's really not many. The reason why a lot of them convert to Greek Orthodox too is it's one of the easiest to do if you're Catholic, because the beliefs are practically identical except for like one or two things, and obviously the Pope thing is not really an issue. But yeah, Europe, baby, Catholicism. Hey, welcome to your weekly Corner Späti. It is myself, Nick, and I am joined with Uma.
Hello.
So, sticking to Catholicism.
Yeah, we're gonna talk.
We're gonna talk about Spain. Unfortunately, not about the church, but I have only just seen constant videos of destruction with these floods in Valencia. So Please, I have not been good at the timetable with it. I don't know any of the things that are going on. What like this like it is I mean, this is absolutely insane, just to say the least. I don't think I've seen flooding in Europe this bad. I don't know, at least for like the past like 5 years or so.
Yeah. Have you seen the satellite pictures? It's
no,
insane.
I've just seen the like the UGC that people have been doing, which is crazy enough. But no, I've not seen anything else. And I kind of I don't like looking at natural disaster footage.
God, yeah.
It's weird because it's like with seeing so much like war and death stuff, that's like that part of my brain's been like desensitized. But like the power of nature scares me.
Oh yeah, I saw someone on Twitter say that their grandpa used to say that fire can be stopped, but water cannot. Like you should be more afraid of water than fire.
That's why I don't swim.
Do you actually know how to swim though?
Well, I know how to swim in the sense that then I don't like water.
There's many people who don't know how to swim. That's fine. I mean, if you don't live, you're from Arizona. Well, you have pools, I guess, obviously. But
I mean, I learned how to swim obviously because my parents thought that it was a good idea for me to have this basic survival skill. But I hate water. Yes.
Yeah, fair.
Except for pools, but that's like because it's controlled.
It's contained, right?
Yeah.
When I was little, I used to still imagine that there were sharks in the pool and get like myself scared, which is so stupid. But,
I'm with you right there.
Anyway, yeah. So the floods in Valencia have been really, really bad. However, it has, besides obviously the whole climate change issue, it has just shown that right-wing governments kill and right-wing policies kill. Because so Spain as a whole has a PSOE government, sure, but each autonomous community has its own government as well, right? Like Catalonia. And Valencia, since July 2023, has a Pepe, which are the right wing, government with Vox as well. So the president is from Pepe, but many of the ministers are Vox members. And
for the listeners that are not so familiar with Spanish politics, PSOE is the Social Democrats, of course, and then Pepe are the typical like conservatives. Vox is then like the neo-fascist Francoist movement. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for. I just assume everyone.
I forget all the time. I don't know why Mediterranean countries like fuck me up because there's a lot of parties in Europe to begin with. But like whenever you guys go and talk about Spanish politics, I have to like keep a list in front of me of which parties are which because they all kind of, to me, sound the same.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, no, but Vox is like proper far right.
Yeah, Vox I know because I think that the joke with Kieran that Ezra Klein made them from Vox in the US. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so for context, in February of 2023, it's a context that's really important to understand why these floods have been so bad and why so many people have died so far, because obviously they're still pulling out victims out of places. But in February 2023, the now ex-president of Valencia, Ximo Puig, he was part of the Valencian PSOE, so Social Democrat. He created the Valencian Emergency Unit, which was a unit in charge of ensuring rapid intervention anywhere in the territory, right? So there's one unit that is the military emergency unit, which is, it's a central government, to put it like that, unit. But Ximo Puig decided that, we need kind of a local similar unit to that, because now with climate change, there's a lot more fires. happening, a lot more floods, or, things like that. So he created that. However, it never really became a thing because 4 months later, in July, not 4 months, yeah, they had the elections. Sorry, yeah, just brain fart. They had the elections, and Carlos Mazón, who is now the president, became the president of Valencia with Pepe and Vox. 4 months later, he got rid of this unit, right? So, which is insane because also they were boasting about it. They tweeted on the Pepe account like, it's the first organization created by Chimo Puig that we're getting rid of, as if it's, as if it's a thing that they should be getting rid of everything that Chimo Puig has implemented, right? Because obviously Chimo Puig is a social democrat, so he's the enemy and whatnot.
I'm just curious, does this have like this, like the conspiratorial kind of like thing to it, like in the US they do, where they're like, we have to get rid of FEMA because they're making like, FEMA camps and stuff like that, when in reality FEMA is the American national equivalent to exactly this thing? Or is it just like the typical budget cutting, like...
Yeah, so basically they were just saying that it's a waste of money, it's never gonna be anything, we don't need it. There's the other, like the military emergency unit that Spain has, so we don't need it.
The right-wingers love the military in Spain.
They do. But also, I have read, I don't want to put this as a matter of fact thing because I didn't actually fact check it, I should have, but I have read that all the money that should have gone to this Valencian emergency unit went to bullfighting, and to like preserve bullfighting in Valencia.
Great, wow.
I know.
Yeah. That's like their their stupid culture war thing that they like just don't want to give up on. So that, I mean, listener, please fact check that for us.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so they got rid of it. And it's really fucking stupid because, they were saying, oh, no, it was never properly staffed and it was just a waste of money and whatever. But it's like, it was never properly staffed because you fucking got rid of it. Like, you didn't even let it be a thing. Of course it's not. It's useless. Of course there's no staff. Of course, like, it makes absolutely no sense. Also they were saying that there are more appropriate formulas to guarantee the coordination of emergencies. However, we will see that if there's any formulas, they definitely did not follow any of them, because this is an emergency or like a disaster that could have definitely been avoided, or at least, much less dead people or affected people.
Mm-hmm.
On the 29th of October, that's when everything went down, right? On Tuesday at night as well, which obviously made everything way worse. But there's this state meteorological agency called IMET, right? Which is getting a lot of backlash and hate by Pepe and Vox and all of these people, because they said, oh, they didn't let us know how many, how bad it was going to be. They didn't, obviously all of this is bullshit. They did. A week earlier, or almost a week earlier, on the Wednesday before that, they already were publishing warnings that there was going to be a DANA. So a DANA is, stands in Spanish for isolated depression at high levels, which is obviously a phenomena that creates a lot of rainfall, a lot of water, and it's very erratical. It's not like, oh, it's moving up to the north, so it's just, it stays, it moves, and it's very, very difficult to know how it's going to move, to contain it. So they were already saying a week before, like, there's going to be a pretty bad Dana coming up.
Is this like a weather formation that's like common in Spain, or is this like something
Yeah,
just like a
it's
general?
common in Spain, usually in the summer and at the start of autumn. So it's not common this late, quote unquote, into autumn, right? Because it's usually it's helped by the fact that the sea is warm. So obviously that's the whole climate change thing. The sea shouldn't be as warm as it is in November. So that aided to the formation of this. On Friday of last week, so October 25th, they issued a first information note warning a heavy or very heavy showers and storms for Tuesday. So an exact date was already established by this agency. And they issued the first warning, red warning for it. No, sorry. On October 29th, at 7 a.m. in the morning, they issued the first warning, right? For the interior of Valencia, especially. At 9 a.m. on that same day, they warned on social media, mainly Twitter, that there were going to be red warnings until at least 6 p.m. that day, and that people shouldn't go anywhere near rivers, near any kind of water or ravine, right? Ravine, sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Ravine.
English is stupid. It's fine. I'm not gonna punish you for that one.
No, I know. It's like one of those words that I've only ever read, so I did I just went for it, but ravine, okay, good, thank you. However, so they said that the red alert was going to be until 6 p.m., but that was at 9 a.m. Throughout the morning, they said that, okay, no, the red alert should be for all of Valencia, and it's going to be more than 6 p.m. It's not going to be only until 6 p.m. At 1 p.m., Mazón, who is the president, hosts a press conference and says that the rain is going to stop at 6 p.m., so nobody has to worry, everything is good, even though Ahmed had already established that the red warnings should be in place way after 6 p.m., right? He tweeted about it as well, and now the tweet has been deleted because turns out that many municipalities were already flooding at this point before 1 p.m., right?
Yeah.
So, and many had lost power and cell service as well, so they were completely incommunicated. At 6:30, one of the biggest ravines overflows, so it's interesting that many of the more affected villages or towns, they actually had no rainfall whatsoever. It's because all the accumulated rainfall from the mountains or like from higher up just went crashing down to the sea, right? So basically destroyed everything in its path. And when this ravine at 6:30 overflowed, that was ground zero. It basically destroyed all these towns on its way down. And those are the most affected towns. And that was already at 6:30.
Yeah.
The first alert, those weird alerts that the government can send to your phone.
Yeah.
The first alert was after 8 p.m. After this ravine had already destroyed towns, killed many people. When people had said that the water was like up to their chest already, they got the alert at 8 p.m. saying that, oh, don't go outside.
That's insane. That is.
And at 8:36, so hours and hours and hours after everything is already going on, that's when the Valencian government asked for the help of this military emergency unit. So hours after the first floodings, which were in the morning of that same day. Also, Mazón, it's just like to describe how stupid Mazón is. He tweeted that 112, which is the emergency number, was not down and that people should keep trying and calling. But sure, it's operative, but like if somebody calls and nobody is answering, that means that it's down.
Yeah.
Even if you get through, if nobody's answering, that means it's down. If there's not enough staff to handle all the emergencies, that means it's down. Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, it's not down. And everyone just piling up on him on Twitter, like, what the fuck do you mean? Yes, it is down. We cannot.
Hey, at least Twitter wasn't down so that then everyone could complain. Like that's.
Oh yeah, but that's also what was so sad is that everybody just turned to Twitter to be like, help! I can't contact, I don't know, my parents or my brother or whatever, because all of these emergency services were
not working.
Yeah. Exactly, and everyone was isolated.
Was it that they weren't working, or was it that they were just like the lines were just too backed up with everyone calling?
Yeah, exactly. The lines were backed. So, yeah, technically, yeah, they were working, but there was just not enough people to cover all the calls that were coming in.
Yeah. So, let's then get to the overall, because I mean that's a good point to lead into like the questions that I have about, as what you mentioned earlier, how these conservative governances, not even just throughout Spain, but that we've seen kind of throughout Europe and in the United States, and I mean, yeah, general Western countries, lead to the worsening of natural disasters or disasters that may be because of their politics, spending, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but before we get to that, the stats that came out of this, I had to double take, because it was like, when I first saw, I think you were posting on Instagram about it, that it was hundreds of people died so far, more unfound, this and that and that. So what has been the extent of the damage that we've seen now of recording this 3 days later, I believe?
3 days, so far, 202 are dead in Valencia alone. So obviously this rainfall, it also affected other communities, but not as hard. 3 other people have been confirmed dead, and 2 other autonomous communities in Spain, but 202 are in Valencia. Again, so far, because there is no way that's the final amount. Especially because, again, they're saying that all this water was going down to the sea. So there's probably many poor people that ended up just, drowning, and their bodies ended up being dragged to the sea. And how are you gonna, unless someone, calls and says, my dad is missing or whatever, you're never gonna know that these people are dead, right? So that's the thing. Almost 2,000 people are missing so far. Thankfully, obviously doesn't mean that they're all dead. Again, cell service is still not back. Power is still not back. Running water is still not back. So many haven't been able to contact their friends and families. So they could just be incommunicated. And hopefully that's just the case. Mazón is fully, shifting the responsibility to the central government, which makes absolutely no sense. And this meteorological organization, IMET, stating that they didn't really let him know how bad it was going to be, but as I've told you guys, yes, they did many times. And also Mazón assumed sole command of the emergency on Tuesday afternoon, which makes, again, no sense, because he doesn't know anything about this kind of emergency. He doesn't know anything about many things because he's dumb as shit, but but specifically about this.
Yeah, he just wanted to take the reins because he can.
Yeah.
But
he's been like cosplaying as every time he's in a press conference, he has like this like emergency military unit thing on. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Trying to cosplay an emergency worker?
Dudes love, like, guys love dressing up. I think that people
Honestly.
don't realize that. I mean, like, I think in the sense of like how we've seen examples of one of our favorite characters of Macron will use any excuse now to like hop into a military hoodie. And I wouldn't be, obviously, I'm in no way surprised whatsoever that a conservative politician in Spain, who's like probably a borderline Francoist, wants to put on military equipment or like something that shows that he's like a part of the troops.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Just one little.
Oh, no. Keep
going. Thing. You know how Mazón is from Pepe. Pepe hates Catalonia, hates Catalonia, basically. Because Valencia, so the thing is, in Valencia, they speak Valenciano, which is the same as Catalan. It's the same language. And obviously in Catalonia, there's people that believe in like the Catalan countries, which would be Catalonia, Valencia, and the Balearic Islands, which is all the territories that where Catalan is spoken, right? Pepe is basically in Valencia. They speak Spanish. They never speak Valenciano. And when they speak Valenciano, it's to claim that Valenciano is different from Catalan. It's their own thing, and that Catalans should stay away and, shut the fuck up.
So it's like your guys is like Serbo-Croatish or whatever.
Exactly, basically. So on Wednesday, which is the day after the disaster, the firefighters from the Special Action Group in Catalonia, which is a elite group, were activated to go help in Valencia.
The cool special forces.
Yeah, the cool special forces. They included so it was a complete team, a doctor and a rescue helicopter. So they were all going with a helicopter, and while they were on their way, Mazón and his government called them up and said, no, we don't want your help, and made them turn back, which is insane to me, because then they did accept the help from these kind of units from Madrid and from Asturias, which are so far away from Valencia. But the one community that is right next to them, they didn't, like, he just didn't accept their help. And these firefighters, they posted a picture calling him out, basically, on Instagram. They have deleted the calling out part now.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah, I think they, their lawyer was like, maybe, delete that or something.
That's insane. I couldn't imagine being that petty of a, what is the proper term for anti-Catalonian sentiment or whatever? What would be like? I don't want to say like the.
I mean,
specifically
in Valencia. Well, he is a royalist.
I mean, I guess it is, but
no, but specific in Valencia, they're called blaveros. I don't know.
I'm not going to be able to probably pronounce that right. So,
but
with a B or with a V?
V. Blaveros. Blauers. I'm Catalan. Oh my god. In Catalan, it's blauers with a U instead of a V. But
so blaveros.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. I hope we don't have listeners from Valencia. But yeah.
So these blaveros, then, as you call them, that is insane to me that you would be so petty.
Like, your people are dying and dead.
Yeah, and you won't take the cool, like, Catalan Special Forces firemen because you have a... Yeah. I mean, that's a big L if you ask me.
It's horrible. And especially considering how the people are suffering. And these firefighters actually wrote in this caption on Instagram that in these catastrophic situations, prioritizing rescue and attention to victims should be above politics, which, yes, 100%.
But
And
being
now,
being racist is way more fun though. If you're a Pepe member, clearly.
Now, 3 days later, now their help has been accepted.
Oh, okay. Wow, cool. That's absurd.
But I mean, it's still needed, but it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess that's then a good segue into then kind of like the general questions of, I mean, that's an organizational and governing blunder that is so petty and stupid. I kind of can't believe it. But so what are then as you mentioned beforehand that there have been these, budget cuts, these removing of parts of the government or the local government rather to, I guess, make way for things that the right wants to do. And what have then been, I assume that then Pepe and Vox as well are also very like climate denialist and as such as the typical right would be. How does like the general politic, I guess, of these parties, of the two governing parties, affected in the kind of like the broader sense of okay, they did the racism, they did the budget cuts, but now in the aftermath, how are they like playing this off? What is then the kind of rhetoric that then's coming to, how they're like justifying this type of shit? Because just from what you've told me, and I'm assuming that you're not lying to me as being my friend and co-host, that this is Pepe is going to have, it seems like, a difficult time coming out of this politically in that regard, but also too, like, it seems that they're just kind of putting the blame of that then, oh, well, we wanted to invest more in the national services. This is their fault. This is someone else's fault. It really isn't the sense of our poor governance. We're just out here trying to do, we're just trying to save money. We're trying to be the good, the budget cutters and this and that and that.
Yeah.
Have they already kind of started doing that process, or is it just kind of like a moment of complete chaos politically for them? Because that's the thing that I'm just always like, I'm amazed that conservative parties get out of these. And this isn't just the only example,
So, I don't think, hopefully, obviously they won't come out of this, but I see, so years ago during the COVID pandemic, Ayuso, who is the president of Madrid, who is also from Pepe, thousands of old people died in old people's care homes because she basically locked them in and told health professionals to not let these old people into hospitals, basically to let them die so other people could be treated, right? That's horrible. That's like a horrible, horrible thing to do. She's still president. And that was 4 years ago, right? However, because this was, it affected everybody. And, doesn't matter age, doesn't matter how much money. It could be different. I have seen online people that would vote for Mazón or Pepe or Vox or whatever, complain and be really pissed off at how it was handled, because the whole thing was the alarm. The alarm went off at 12 p.m. Hours and hours after everything was already happening, right? So maybe if they had sent out the alarm in the morning, maybe their voters would be like, no, but they let us know before. But even they can't deny that some people had water up to their necks already when this thing was out, right? So as I said, they're trying to blame this the Meteorological Institute, whatever, and the central government for not helping them before, but I don't think that's really working at all.
Yeah.
thankfully.
Because the thing that then comes to mind of some of the more recent things I think that we've covered, maybe not even that recent now that I think of it, but you know, of like you mentioned the examples as well in Spain, but the ones that then come to my mind are the train crash that was in Greece a few years ago.
Yeah.
Where like a shit ton of people died, and it was entirely down to the current government doing massive budget cuts on public transportation and whatnot. Also, with Greece, coupled with the fires that have been happening a lot more recently, which is a climate change thing, and that the government is like not paying firefighters properly and whatnot. Which even like today, they've gone and they stormed the one of the ministries, demanding that they get like proper contracts. But still, nonetheless, New Democracy like was unfazed by those disasters, and it really like there's always like I'm always kind of left bewildered with how these massive, I mean, a flood is of course much more extreme than a derailed train or a train crash, albeit like still the product of I mean, we could say neoliberal conservative economic policies. But I am very much always amazed of how these conservative parties are so good at these types of deflection. And like you mentioned, the other president, even after literally killing a bunch of old people, is still in office.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much hope. Maybe they will make him personally resign. But I don't know. It's just I want to be nice and give these people the benefit of the doubt. But if they already voted for them in the first place, you know what I mean? Like, they don't care about anything else that Pepe, because Pepe has been famously so corrupt in Valencia, always. So like there's so many cases of corruption. The biggest ones in Spain are from the Pepe in Valencia, the most famous ones at least. I'm talking like corruption cases where those that were involved in them suddenly started killing themselves, all of them. You know, like this kind of massive corruption.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And people keep voting them.
Yeah. So, conservatism, baby.
I'm not very hopeful. But maybe Mazón himself will suffer. Just not Pepe as a political party.
Yeah. One last question that then I have about this is from at least the way that then I've perceived this, it seems like that a lot of like is how much of the lack of reaction, or I guess the downplaying of the severity of it, do you think comes down to the party's individual position on like their attitudes towards climate change or climate change denial or whatever it may be? Because I see this happen a lot, for example, in like the United States, where, you know, hurricanes have been getting far more severe in the US. The hurricane season's been moving back later in the US. And there is like an active movement within, particularly, of course, the Trump supporters. One part conspiratorial, that they're like, oh, the government is actively changing the weather and they're chemtrailing us, and that. But then, regardless of the conspiracy, you know, schizo-brained Trump supporters, there is a large group of these people, particularly in the South, who think that they'll be unaffected by it, that it won't really be that bad because it's liberal lies, you know? And there was because there was that video going around, maybe you saw, of like the lady being like, well, I'm not moving. This is the house that my husband built. And it was built commercial grade, which means nothing. in the US. It's like, oh, my husband's a contractor and he built our house commercial grade. And it's like, well, I don't trust your house is going to be floating away.
Yeah.
And there is a level of just genuine, not even like mistrust, but just of, being of like, well, I'm going to stand my ground because it'll never be that bad. It's actually not that much. How much do you like, is there a bit of that within that movement of whether it be Pepe, Vox, or just like the general rights assessment? Because I think it is kind of the thing that like every right wing party in the West is climate denialist. Like it's kind of like one of the like true like the continuities that we see amongst all of them.
Yeah, I think even Mathon himself has come out and be like, no, this is not about climate change or politics or whatever. So yeah, 100%. I 100% think that. However, because it is the local government, like someone in Asturias, for example, I don't know, or even Madrid, can be like, probably would be like, oh, that sucks that it happened to them, but it's not climate change, so it's never going to happen in Madrid. So we're good, right? I think the people in Valencia, the people that support Mathon and Vox and Pepe, yeah, they're still probably wouldn't think that it's because of climate change. They would just be like, it's a natural disaster. Whoopsie, like it is what it is.
These happen all the time. Yeah,
exactly,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because there have been previous floods in Valencia, right? So this is the worst one since 1957, which is when Franco was still ruling, obviously. And what he did was, because Valencia has all these Valencia city, not Valencia as a community, the city of Valencia has all this industry, that what he did was build, the Valencians paid for it with their own taxes. It wasn't like a Spain thing. It was a Valencia thing. Two like big, basically like, ravines, like rivers, like, so if that happened, but all the water would go down these fake rivers instead of going into the city. So that's why Valencia city is fine and nothing happened there. But the rest of Valencia was fucked, right? So yeah, I don't think they think it's climate change. And even if they were affected by it, they would still be like, well, it happens. It happens in Valencia. So,
Yeah. Before we go, if our listeners are, listening to this when it comes out, I believe on Monday the 4th, I assume that this won't change by then, but what are ways that then that, if people want to help and stuff like that? I see that then that you've like put up some, things on Instagram and stuff.
It's a bit hard if they don't live in Spain. So in Spain,
maybe we have listeners in Spain. I don't know.
I know. Yeah. But if you're in Spain, I'm sure your local, what's it called? The town hall. Your local town hall has already said where donations could be placed, mainly blankets, clothes, products, hygiene products for the babies and all of that. So please look up your local town hall and see where. Be very aware though, because the same people that are like, this is not about politics, are basically, there's a lot of fascist organizations in Spain getting all these donations for the victims. So try at least not to, donate to these people. So make sure you go to quote unquote an official one. And I'll see if I can find, I haven't really seen any links going around like international where you can send money to. I will try find one, and if I do find a trusted one, we will put it in the description.
Yes, I was just about to say if there is a link to this episode, then we found one.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
great to know that the fascists are doing
They're like,
doing
we gotta
an
help the Spanish people and not the foreigners, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, a typical old left wing tactic, actually, of something. I mean, not the racist side of it, but that is something that then, because I remember in the sense of post like financial crisis Greece and Italy, that's how a lot of these fascist organizations, they were just like, well, let's just like take the left wing crisis management route of like the old communists and just do it for ourselves.
Yeah.
So great to see that they're doing that as well and being sneaky and problematic.
Yeah, because one phrase that has been going around a lot is only the people help save the people or help the people, right? And yes, but also it shouldn't be only. That's why that's why these governments are supposed to help. All these units, emergency units, they have a job. Mathon had literally one job and he didn't do it. And yes, the people, we're going to save the other people, but we shouldn't be left alone to this, to this like horrible disaster.
Yeah. I mean, it is that typical conservative logic of how like charity is more important than the state, but it's just like, the state has mechanisms and resources that the average person and or charity does not. I mean, they have the special forces fire department, for example. Which Valencia could probably also have had too if they invested the fucking money.
Yeah, and it was gonna happen until this guy was like, it was created by the Social Democrats, so I hate it and I'm gonna kill it. Because that's how it works.
Well, this has been a unless you have anything to add, Uma, I think that has been a very good overview of the floods in Spain. Because it is such a I would say a serious topic, I don't think that we're going to really add much more to the episode, so it's going to be a little bit shorter today. But as Uma said, if we do find a link for donations, it will be in the description. And we will then catch you guys on the bonus. And take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.